Imagine a warm summer afternoon in an upscale Atlanta neighborhood. Marcus Daniels, a retired police officer with 15 years of service, is finally living his dream. After years of saving and working overtime, he's purchased his dream home, a beautiful two-story house with a sparkling pool that glistens under the Georgia sun. But just as Marcus begins to enjoy his well-earned peace, his tranquility is shattered. As Marcus relaxes in his lounge chair, the sound of police sirens pierces the air. Two patrol cars screech to a halt in front of his house, and officers approach with their hands on their holsters. "Sir, we've received a report of a suspicious individual trespassing in this pool area," one officer says. Marcus sits up, a knot forming in his stomach. He doesn't need to guess who made the call. Out of the corner of his eye, he spots his neighbor, Karen Thompson, peeking through her curtains with a smug smile. This isn't the first time she's caused trouble, but little does she know it will be the last. 2 months earlier, Marcus had just moved into his new home, a milestone he'd worked toward for over a decade. The property was immaculate, especially the backyard pool that had caught his eye from the start. While arranging patio furniture, he noticed Karen for the first time, standing at her second-floor window, phone pressed to her ear, staring at him. He waved politely, but she quickly disappeared behind her curtains. The next day, while Marcus was out running errands, his security camera alerted him to movement. To his disbelief, Karen had entered his backyard through the unlocked gate. Dressed in a designer swimsuit and carrying a luxury towel, she made herself at home, dipping her feet in his pool. When Marcus returned and confronted her, her reaction was unforgettable. "Oh," she exclaimed, feigning surprise. "I thought you were the new pool maintenance guy. The previous owners always let me use their pool." Her condescending tone made Marcus's blood boil, but he kept his composure. "Ma'am, I'm not the maintenance man. I'm the new owner, and I'd appreciate it if you asked permission before entering my property," he said firmly. Karen's face twisted in disbelief. "You? The owner?" she scoffed, her tone dripping with thinly veiled prejudice. There must be some mistake. Marcus stood his ground, calmly informing her that she was trespassing and needed to leave. As she gathered her things, she muttered, "We'll see about that," a promise of more trouble to come. Over the following weeks, Karen's behavior escalated. One Saturday morning, Marcus awoke to the sound of voices and splashing. Looking out his window, he saw Karen hosting a pool party in his backyard with 4 of her friends. When he confronted her, she dismissed him with a wave. "Oh, don't be difficult. We're just having a little fun," she said. Her friends, clearly uncomfortable, quickly packed up and left, but Karen lingered, sneering. "Go ahead. Call the police. My husband plays golf with the captain." That afternoon, Marcus installed additional security cameras, determined to document everything. Karen's antics continued. She tested his gate, peered through his windows, and even attempted to use a copied key from the previous owners. The final straw came when she hosted her book club in his backyard. This time, Marcus called the police. When officers arrived, Karen tried to play the victim, claiming she had pool privileges from the previous owners. However, the officers, who were Marcus's former colleagues, weren't buying it. They escorted Karen and her guests off the property, but not before she hissed, "You don't belong here, and I'll make sure everyone knows it." Karen's campaign against Marcus intensified. Anonymous complaints flooded the HOA. His morning newspaper went missing, and his perfectly maintained lawn was suddenly the subject of baseless accusations. But Marcus, a seasoned former officer, knew how to gather evidence. His cameras caught Karen stealing his newspaper, photographing his house at odd hours, and even sprinkling plant killer on his roses under the cover of darkness. At the next HOA meeting, Karen attempted to undermine Marcus by claiming his presence was lowering property values. Calmly, Marcus stood up and played security footage of her vandalizing his garden. The room fell silent. Karen's face turned pale, but she quickly tried to spin the narrative, claiming she was checking for suspicious activity. No one believed her. The breaking point came when Marcus discovered his pool had been tampered with, filled with dish soap that would take days to filter out. Instead of getting angry, Marcus devised a plan. He remembered a harmless, non-toxic dye used in pool maintenance that reacts with chemicals found in sunscreen and cosmetics. The dye temporarily stained skin a bright green, taking days to fade. After testing it, he prepared for Karen's next move. Sure enough, Karen planned another unauthorized pool party. Marcus pretended to leave for the day but stayed home, monitoring the situation from his office. As expected, Karen and her friends arrived, slathered in expensive sunscreen, and jumped into the pool. Within minutes, their skin began turning green. Panic ensued as the women scrambled out of the water, their designer swimsuits and makeup streaked with green. Karen's shrieks echoed through the neighborhood as she realized what had happened. Marcus captured everything on camera and edited the footage into a video that quickly went viral. The video showcased Karen's repeated trespassing, culminating in the pool party disaster. Local news stations picked up the story, and Karen became a laughingstock. Her real estate agency distanced itself from her, and neighbors who had once stayed silent began sharing their own stories of her entitled behavior. Karen's attempts to salvage her reputation only made things worse. Her green-tinged face became a meme, and her husband's complaints about her inability to show houses added to the public ridicule. Eventually, a for sale sign appeared in front of her house, and she moved away in disgrace. In the aftermath, the neighborhood transformed. Marcus's pool became a hub for community gatherings, bringing neighbors closer together. The new family that moved into Karen's house fit in perfectly, and the once divided community thrived. Marcus's experience became a reminder that standing up to bullies with dignity and patience can lead to meaningful change. And as for Karen, well, karma has a way of making a splash. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Grandpa Stories.